I guess when we embark on the new gallery project, we also took a lot of learning points about what was so well received in the older space, the original space. And I think one of the things that we kept hearing feedbacks throughout, and especially from the visitors, right, it's a very conducive environment. Any designers who wants to kind of work out of office and they have a day where you have to choose the bulk of the materials there, it makes sense to kind of maybe do back-to-back meetings and then you work off that space in between. Or even if it's just having a meeting there and then you still have like 2 hours instead of traveling back and forth to the office or to the home, they can choose to kind of work in a very conducive environment. So in that sense, we felt like there was a need to provide for spaces that people could linger longer. The user experience is very key. Given that this is actually a self-exploratory gallery with non-linear kind of circulations, people can go in different directions and people can come back on different visits, but they are engaged to kind of explore or find out more for themselves. That sense of discovery has to be built in. So of course I have my experienced design team to rely on in integrating a lot of these tech elements as well as the whole journey maps. We feel that the walls can pack a lot more beyond just the laminate panels that you can pull out. In the case of demonstrations or library ladders, actually you pull out, some of them are incorporating videos on the front of ladders to kind of showcase the materials, what's inside, to give you a glimpse of the materials that's been showcased further. So when you pull these ladders out, you get a glimpse of not just the color palettes, but also details that's associated with it. So sometimes construction details or what's feasible, what's possible, the different possibilities of applications are all within the same ladder. So when you pull something out, you could actually stand there and get like a whole educational talk through, without having to move from space to space just to get everything. Everything you need is in that single ladder. So many different groups of users can use this space for different functions, and they are able to, depending on which areas that they're most likely to focus on more, they could be taking their discussions to those zones. Or sometimes you may move it towards 2 different zones. You may want to discuss kitchen areas within a space that you can look and feel and touch some of the elements. And we've also built live cabinetry where they can actually test what is a soft close hinge, what is actually like a soft closing track look like, and in the case of buffet handles, we've actually applied them throughout the whole showroom, so they also can actually test it in the real life situation. So this allows the touch and feel not just of objects that's just placed almost like an artwork in a museum, but you get to use them, you get to see a lot of these live demonstrations that you can actually walk through with the clients. We have specific stations that you bring your loose materials of your choice to test those colors in the actual situations. And I think this will actually really make sure that we don't have a surprise element or unpleasant surprise element at the end of the day where they see something in warm lighting in the showrooms, which is what we typically would advocate. But then there are certain cases in certain areas that they are using very, very cool lighting and the color is totally different. And that could be a disaster for a specific project. Each tree libraries or tree house actually have one of such functions built in as well. So one of the favorite spots in the old gallery was actually the library. Everybody's fighting to use the space, that room where you are surrounded by all the materials. It's almost like a walk-in closet of materials to pick and choose and concoct the outfit of the day. So in that sense, we wanted to have a very much more enlarged library where more groups of people could share the joy of working within that walk-in closet concept of materials. And in that sense also, we actually wanted it to be a space where you could, whether you choose to stand and discuss work or whether you choose to sit on an adjustable height stool, there's something suitable for everyone. And there's also multiple heights for different users. We also saw that you have such a nice environment that it can also be converted to hold the educational talks that they have. There's a certain kampong spirit that I saw in the whole setup that we felt like a courtyard house kind of concept would do very well for them, because it doesn't matter that you're working on level 1, doesn't matter that you're on level 2, level 3, but the courtyard allows interconnected sidelines to kind of always see what's going on. Like, you have a higher chance to see the people who are working in different parts of the space coming together or crossing paths. And I think we are designing spaces that allows for a chance encounter, whether it's that very impromptu, organic kind of interactions, whether at the lobbies, in the corridors, or where's the place that they will wait for each other before they head out for lunch. So there are lots of different pockets of the space that allows for a better utilization across the day. Singapore's weather is very hot, right? So you have to deal with the microclimatic conditions of each space. But with the courtyard, right, and the porosity of spaces that we intertwine with it, it allows for a very good wind tunnel effect within the space. So the wind gets drawn in, it actually moves across the space, it moves across some of the bridge links. That's why a lot of the spaces where, as much as possible, we actually leave them natural ventilated spaces in between. So I think in a way we don't consume excessive energy. And where I'm seated, actually I get a strong breeze blowing me.